Ooh-wee. Yes. Can you feel it, folks? It certainly feels good. Welcome to the listenings, brought to you by Purpose of Heart Ministries. And folks, we got a good show right here at the listenings. But wait, isn't it a beautiful day today? Doesn't it feel good? It feels so good. You made it. I made it. We all made it here to the listenings. So congratulations, folks. You done did it again. You made it. And folks, today, here on the listenings, we have... Wait, stop. Is this correct? No, ask the big boss. Is this true? Did he really book him on the show today? He did? Oh my goodness. Oh my gosh. I'm a huge fan, you don't even know. Okay, he needs a good introduction. I'll do my best. All right, so I feel so nervous. I'm a nervous wreck. Hit it. Ladies and gentlemen, today on the listenings, and today only, folks, all the way from Rancho Cucamonga, we have the one, the only, my hero, Carlos Aguero!
5, 4, 3. Well, good morning, folks. Good afternoon and good evening. Whatever it may be for you, I hope it's absolutely blessed. And folks, we got a good show for you today. We got a real good show. We got a good buddy of mine for over 20 years now. I've known this guy. And I think you guys are going to like him too. And here he is, Mr. Carlos.
Oh,
how are you, man?
I'm doing good, man. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for being on the show. I really appreciate it. I got a question for you, though. What is your purpose of heart?
I was afraid you were going to ask something about our past. So that's
secret stuff, bro. That's a secret.
So that's a great question. I think for me, I always go back to the word, right? To the Bible. And what is it? Jeremiah 17, I believe, where it talks about the heart being deceitful above all things.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm always very careful about how I go off of my feelings or the heart, right? What my heart wants, because it's again, the word says it's deceitful.
Right.
So before anything, I think the purpose is to align my heart to what the Lord wants. A great example of that is David, to have God say, a man after my own heart. That would be a great purpose, right?
Yeah.
To try to align to that. Once I'm aligned to that, I think for me is to be a good husband and a good father. I think that's the ultimate ministry.
Absolutely.
And if my heart could be aligned to be a good father, a good husband, I think that's the most impact that we can make as men in this world.
Yeah.
Right. To raise sons and daughters that are also after God's own heart, and to lead our wives closer to Christ as well.
Amen.
So, yeah, that's pretty much it. Yeah.
Hey, bro, that's a great purpose of heart, man. Did you grow up in a Christian family?
Yeah, I did grow up in a Christian home. Both my sides of my grandparents were Christian. My parents were Christian. Aunts, uncles were Christian. So yes, I grew up in a Christian home. But disclaimer, that doesn't necessarily mean I was a believer that whole time.
Oh, really?
Right. So I got very good at playing the Christian part, But
Interesting.
that doesn't necessarily mean that I was saved just because my parents or my grandparents.
Right.
So.
You guys went to church and stuff?
Yeah, we went to church. We went to
Like as long as you can remember?
as long as I could remember. Wow. Went to a Pentecostal church. My grandpa was a pastor of a church, I believe, if I remember correctly. My family sees this, they may correct me, but I believe it was in Lincoln Heights out in LA.
Wow.
And I remember that's the earliest memory of church that I have is.
And you were born and raised LA?
Born and raised LA. Yeah.
All right.
LA the whole time. But my grandfather had a church there. And as far as I could remember, we went to church. Sundays was an all day church thing.
Really?
So Sunday morning, Sunday school, then evening services.
Wow.
You better be at both. It was a whole lot of.
That's a lot of church.
A lot of church. Yeah.
Especially for a kid.
Yep.
Man.
Yep. Especially for young kid, 8, 7.
Dang.
So.
Well, okay, so your family was Christian, but you didn't mean you were saved, right?
Right.
When did the change come?
I mean, so people have these Paul testimonies, right? It's like lightning out of the sky, or you flash of light, you get dropped off of a donkey or whatever it is he was riding.
Yeah.
I don't have a testimony like that. I don't have anything that dramatic
Donkey.
where it was like, oh, all of a sudden.
Yeah.
I think it was a gradual development for me, where, as far as I could remember, the word was instilled in me, right? Because I went to church my whole life, hearing my mom pray for me, my aunt pray for me, my grandmother's praying for me. So that was always instilled there. And as a kid, I was like, oh yeah, I'm Christian, but it was my parents' faith, right? It was my parents' faith. It wasn't my faith. It was my parents' faith. And that was true until maybe I got to about the age of 15, 16, where at that point I was like, you know what? I don't think I want to go to church. I'll still play the part just because I don't want to hurt my parents. I don't want to hurt my mom and my dad.
Yeah. So
I'll still go to church, but there was a long time between 16 till about 21, 22, where I wouldn't call myself saved. I wouldn't call myself a believer. I was out doing my own thing. And right at around age 21, 22, I feel like that's where I really felt God put a calling on my life.
21, 22?
21, 22 years old, yeah.
And before that, were you involved with gangs and stuff like that?
No, I never really got involved in gangs. I did grow up in a gang-infested neighborhood. So I grew up in Boyle Heights my whole life. And it's, if you don't know, it's a small community right outside of East LA.
Okay.
And people from Boyle Heights won't say that they're from East LA. They'll say we're from Boyle Heights, even though it's like, it's all there. So, I did grow up in a gang infested neighborhood. A lot of my friends and cousins, were involved in those gangs, but I never fully got involved in it. The life always drew my attention. So I love gangster movies.
Yeah.
I love organized crime stuff. I read up on that stuff just for fun.
Yeah. Me too.
It always drew my attention, but I never fully committed to that type of life.
Yeah. Okay.
I was always on the outskirts of that, what you would call a wannabe, right? Just
were you a jerk to your parents at that age? Like,
if you would ask a 16-year-old me, I would say no way. I wasn't a jerk to my parents. But now you're asking 42-year-old me with a 16 and a 17-year-old of my own.
Wow.
I'm like, oh yeah, I was pretty jerky. I was a little bit of a jerk to my parents at times.
All right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well,
but
how does music play in your life?
Music has been a huge part of my life. So my grandfather played, my dad played, I have uncles and aunts that played. So music has been part of my life forever. And
your dad was in a pretty well-known band, wasn't he?
Yeah, so he played in a band called the God Squad. This is back before I was born, and they recorded a record that kind of got out there. I mean, you got to understand, this was in the 70s. There was no streaming, right? There was no downloading. There was no CDs. There was barely cassettes.
Right.
These were records. And his band that the God Squad made it all. Some of those records made it all the way down to like Central America. They were they were on TV again. It's not like a streaming setup like we could do from home now,
so
right?
That means it's harder to get on the
yeah.
Wow.
So back then they were able to get on TV. So yeah, that band got pretty well known in that community. So I could remember that. I mean, I never saw them
tours
live.
And stuff.
I don't know how extensive their tours were.
Oh, okay.
Again, it was a different time, a different era.
Yeah.
So, but I know that they played a lot, and they played in a lot of places. And so music has been a huge part of my life, going back to your question.
Yes.
So music has been a big part. So you were asking about if I was involved in gangs or anything like that.
Yeah.
I wasn't. And I think the biggest part of that was I had a great dad. I had a great mom. And then I had music in my life. So I think between those three things, God really took mercy on me.
Yeah.
Because like as a 15, 16-year-old, it's like, I do want to be a gangster. Like, I do want to get involved in that life. But there was always something like keeping me from fully committing to that. And I think it was just the grace of God. And he gave me great parents.
Yeah.
You know, we all of us as parents, you know, we have our flaws. We have our mistakes, things that we could do better.
Yeah.
So it's not that they were perfect parents, but they were great parents.
Yeah. Your folks are awesome.
Yeah. You know them.
Yeah. Uncle Al.
Uncle Al. Aunt Trina.
That's right.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. So it was the grace of God, I think, that put those parents and then also that music in my life very, very, very early on. I think I was 10 when I started playing.
So you always been around music because of your family.
Yeah.
What made you, is that what made you want to play? Like, what made you do drums and stuff? And self-taught or?
No, definitely not self-taught. Definitely not self-taught. I had great teachers. I think drums always, you get to beat things, right?
Yeah.
So like, what's there not to like?
Yeah.
So I think drums just kind of drew my attention. Was not at all self-taught. If you want to hear a funny story?
I do.
Traumatic story?
I do.
First time I ever played drums. First time. Never played before. It was at a church service. I saw there was no drummer. So I walk up to the drums.
Before lessons or you've already had
long before lessons. Never touched drums before. Never touched drums.
Have I never heard this?
I walk up to the drums and I go up. This is middle service, right? There's no,
you just went and did it.
No drums. I just went and did it. Sat down. I start playing behind that kit. And I'm thinking, like, I'm killing it.
Yeah.
Right. And I look over at the MD, the music director. He looks at me and he shakes his head and he tells me to get off.
Dang.
In front of everybody. That's how horrible I did.
How old were you?
Maybe 10.
Dang,
maybe
dude.
10, 11. So I was
Broke your heart?
Devastated. Broke my heart. You know who that MD was?
Who?
It was Uncle L. It was my dad.
Wow. Uncle Al.
My dad said, nope, get off.
Wow.
So I got off the drum set, just
dude.
completely devastated. But I think all that builds character, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Like that builds character. We have this idea that kids are always great. You're always a winner. You never do anything wrong. That's not the era I grew up in.
Your dad was not down for that.
No, you're going to improve. That's awesome, so I definitely not self-taught. I had my first teacher his name is Gerson Reyes, pretty well known drummer now. And he was my first influence, my first drum instructor, and really kept me from developing really bad habits.
Yeah, Ben, you're the best drummer I know, that's for sure, bro.
Well,
so you
need to meet more drummers, man.
You need to meet more drummers.
Okay, whoa. Time out. Let me just say, Carlos is being very humble and very modest. So, check this out. Need I say more? No, dude, when I met you, bro, you were all about drumming.
Yeah.
That's what you did, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, we used to do crazy things there, didn't we? Good old Ontario Music is where I met Carlos.
Ontario Music, yeah.
And that was some good times.
Yeah.
I used to have to put you in your place every now and again.
Oh, man.
That was fun, dude.
That was fun times working at that shop for sure.
So at Ontario Music, folks, when Carlos would get out of hand, I'd have to put him in his place. Remember that, bro?
I do forget that we got a few concussions from that.
I had bruises on my arms. It was all in good fun. And then I used to go hang out at your house too, and we'd be rolling all over the front yard.
Yep. Also, anytime I see a black Civic, I remember when I tried to drive your car and I couldn't drive stick shift.
That was so funny, dude.
Every time I tried to take off from first, it was.
That's right.
Burning rubber. Everybody just turned and looking at it. I was like, "What are you guys doing?"
Oh man.
Oh, yep. Fun
dude.
Times.
It's fun being young, dude.
Yeah.
What happened?
Time
we
passes.
both had kids.
But yeah. Both
Mine are
had
still
kids.
young though.
Yeah. How old are your girls?
10 and 7. One's turning 8 in August. So almost ready to put them in the closet and keep them there.
Yeah, it goes by fast, man.
Too fast,
It
bro.
goes
I
by
can't believe your
fast.
daughter's graduating.
My daughter turns 18 in early May.
Wow, bro.
My son is 16. He just turned 16 in February.
Wow.
So she'll be graduating.
Wow.
Yeah.
Dude,
They're great kids though. So
yeah, heck yeah, bro. And it just seems like you were married and now we're here.
yeah,
But like that quick.
that quick.
That's just crazy. But that's how we met, was working at Ontario Music in 2001. And then from there, we just had this connection and we just keep doing things, bro. And, I used to help you with your concerts.
Yeah.
Be your sound guy or roadie, whatever. And now, bro, getting older, you got a production company, right? Stolen Keys Media.
Yeah.
Why don't you tell us a little bit about that?
So Stolen Keys Media came about almost, I don't want to say by accident, but definitely the purpose wasn't to take on artists or anything like that.
Okay.
I had stopped playing for a little bit.
Yeah.
Because life gets in the way, and I decided, you know what, I'm going to start putting out my own content. I'm just going to put out record for myself. So the first song I did was it featured my daughter.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
With Stolen Keys.
With Stolen Keys, yeah, and it's on YouTube. It's the channel is called Stolen Keys Media. Maybe post a link or something. But shameless plug.
It's a .com. Is it stolenkeys.com? I know you're working on the site now, but
yeah. So the website right now is down. Is www.stolenkeysmedia.com. But it's not gonna take you to anything right now because I'm revamping it. But the YouTube channel is still live.
Oh, okay.
So you could.
How do we find you there? I'll put a link up too.
Yeah, I believe it's also the handle. I believe is Stolen Keys Media.
Okay, so at Stolen Keys Media. Okay, cool.
So I put one out for my daughter, and then the following.
I'm sorry. Is that the one where I don't know? She's playing like ukulele. It was during the COVID.
Oh no! That was afterwards. That was later.
Okay. Sorry, bro.
God sent his son. They called him Jesus. He came to love. Me ha espinado el corazón. Por más que trato de olvidarlo, mi alma no da razón.
Go ahead.
Yes, no. I featured Roseanne on that video also.
Oh, you did?
Amazing guitarist. Yeah.
Yes, she is.
So I did it just for us. Then the following artist I featured was the winner of the KSGN.
Oh, really?
Singer-songwriter competition. I can't remember what it is. Her name is Giovanna, and we did a song called Song of Ezekiel.
I hear the sound of the prophet, declaring the word of the Lord. I hear the voice of Ezekiel prophesying to these dry bones to live again.
So that was the next one I featured. And
how'd you do that? That's pretty cool.
she's my cousin's daughter.
Oh,
So
you got the inside road.
So, and
That's
she's
cool, bro.
super talented, amazing young lady, loves God. So it was pretty cool to have her on there. And
She was a winner, huh?
and she was the winner. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So she got to perform at I can't remember which concert, but then I released that video, and then people just started calling and said, "Hey, I saw your video. Can you do something for
That's
us?
cool,
Can you
man.
start recording for us?" So I started bringing in artists.
And that's before I got involved helping you with video.
Yeah, that was
Good
before.
job, bro.
That was before. And then I started taking artists into the studio that were coming in to record. I started taking mixing projects, mastering projects. COVID really did a number on us, though.
Yeah,
As,
sure.
as you know. So a lot of the artists that were
COVID
scheduled.
schmobit, I say.
Yeah, I agree. So that year where everything shut down,
Yeah.
if they would have came to me and said, "Hey, can you?" I would have still taken an artist. Like, yeah, let's
Yeah.
go record.
Yeah, for sure.
But
For sure.
everybody that I had booked for that year canceled. So there were some deposits that I had to give back. It was a rough.
That's terrible,
A rough
yeah.
year for the studio, so it kind of went dormant.
Yeah.
And I just started taking online stuff. So people send me stems.
Yeah.
People send their mastering projects that they want me to work on. So I'm still doing that. I have a buddy from Colorado, Ruben Alonso, who's one of my best friends. You know him.
Yeah.
So I get to work on some of his stuff still. So there's a lot still going on with Stolen Keys Media, but it's very low key. I'm not putting anything out there.
Right.
But yeah, then you got involved with videos. I was like, all right, I need to step up the video
I did,
situation
bro.
here because that's not my forte. And you definitely put it up to another level. So we've got some stuff that's out there.
Yeah, we do. Roseanne's band we actually did, right?
That was a fun project and very cool. They're definitely busy.
Yeah.
Roseanne's band is
They're,
definitely busy, and they have their music school also.
Oh, do they?
Yeah.
I totally forgot about that.
Yeah. Yep.
Is it like a full-on music school?
I know that it's private lessons, and they have artists that they have teachers that they team up with. I don't know exactly how it works, though.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, back to us. Enough of them. I actually ended up filming a commercial for you, bro. Maybe I'll show that clip like during this video here.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
For your
For the
Stolen
studio.
Keys.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for the studio. And that song, going back to Roseanne, actually features a song that I recorded too.
oh yeah.
So I tracked that song to track mixed, mastered.
So I'll show them our work. I'll show that commercial.
Yeah, that's a great commercial.
Yeah,
That was
yeah.
really
Brilliant Focus 3.
Self doubt's my master. Drugs not my scene. Trying to play catch up. Happy catch up with me. I run a little faster. Listen to what you tell me. I got a baby now. A better me.
cool.
And then you had a jazz band back in the day. We did some footage of that.
Yeah.
I might show some of that.
Yeah.
And you were also putting together like a book, like a video audio book.
Yeah. So that one, again, like those 2 years of COVID definitely like threw a lot of projects off track, and
Oh,
and
yeah.
I haven't gotten back to any of them. But that book, as far as the content, is pretty much done. We need to get back to filming.
Yeah.
I actually want to refilm what we did
Whenever you're ready, my
and
man.
retrack what we did. But that was, and it's basically an entry, like a beginner's book to Latin percussion. That's what that was.
That was the whole
Mhm.
deal.
Yeah, beginner's book to Latin percussion.
And then I remember you were doing also like people who record, who might have questions on Logic or Pro Tools.
Yeah.
You were doing little lessons on that.
I was doing little tutorials, and when the website was live, you could sign up to a mailing list, and every week I'd send out just easy tips because with technology today, think about what can be done from home.
Dude, it's unbelievable,
You know,
bro.
I mean,
The whole AI thing now is crazy in the studio.
It's pretty crazy. I mean, you could like the romantic feeling of going into a major studio, big studio, it's still cool. Right?
It
You
is,
go
yeah.
to go to this huge studio with a huge mixing board, huge, like that's all still amazing.
Yeah.
I would take a job in one of those
Oh yeah,
studios in a heartbeat.
absolutely, bro.
But there's so much that can be done from home now.
It's
There's
unbelievable.
Grammy award-winning albums that were recorded in a bedroom now.
It's crazy.
So that's the whole point of what I was doing with that, with
Yeah.
those recording tips. And then I was putting some out on video as well on YouTube, which were, again, I've
Very
stolen
educational, bro.
Keys Media. They're still up there. So
And-
that was a lot of fun.
Teaching is something you like to do.
Yeah, I love teaching.
You got a master's
I got-
and all that.
I went back to school, got a master's in education. I started to get into the public school.
Oh, really?
Industry or whatever you want to call it, but I realized that that's not something I want to do. There was a lot of things that
I get
I
you.
couldn't jump on board with.
Right.
Um,
It's crazy out there.
Yeah, I don't want to get political, but to me, they're not political issues. They're moral
That's
issues.
I agree.
They're moral and biblical issues. It
That's
has
right.
nothing about politicizing or
Amen, brother.
politics at all.
Yep.
So I didn't do that.
Yeah.
It should say something that I said. I don't want to work in the public school industry because of that. Instead,
Yeah.
I work at a casino now.
What?
So
Right.
I don't know. Take that however you want. But no, in all seriousness, there was several things that kind of took me in a different direction, and I think God is a big part of it. So I'm still teaching. I'm a trainer over in the corporate side of the world, and it's a very secular company. Obviously, it's a casino,
Yeah.
but I get to teach service. I get to teach how to serve,
In your way or
right? Because we are in the hospitality industry, so it's about serving our guests.
Oh yeah.
And
yeah.
what's more Christ-like than to serve? So
Very
I get
interesting,
to
bro. Yeah.
I get to put into practice these beliefs of serving the way Christ served, even at work.
Dude, smart, my man.
So like I've had people come up to me and say like, "Do you go to church?"
Really?
And it's like, I do go to church.
Because of your style, the
Yeah,
way
just because I truly believe that offering service is one of the greatest things you could do. To provide great service,
Yeah,
just to
dude.
serve is
Yeah,
one of the greatest
yeah.
things that I could do. So I'm actually in the process of trying to do a consulting thing. It's in the early stages. So I'll tell you here now. I don't know that it goes anywhere, but provide a consulting company to provide great best-in-class service to different small businesses.
That's awesome.
Like what
man.
it's actually very easy to do to provide
Yeah.
great service. It doesn't take a whole lot of work. It all comes down to being polite, having manners.
Yeah.
And I have concepts that I've honed in and practiced that I think companies out there could be very useful. Churches, small businesses, restaurants,
yeah.
breweries,
Dude.
whatever.
Wow. Bro.
So it's something I'm considering doing.
I'm proud of you, dude.
But yeah,
That's a good idea.
yeah.
I dig it.
Yeah, let's see where we'll go with that.
And it's like, you let your light shine at work. If people are being like, hey, do you go to church? Are
Yeah,
you
yeah.
Christian, bro?
Yeah.
That's what's up, man.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
It's like witnessing to people without, being witnessing,
Yeah.
if you will. You know,
And don't-
I dig that. Bro.
yeah, and don't get me wrong. It's not like, oh, I'm trying to hide
right.
that I'm
No,
a believer.
no.
That's very
You're just
much
trying
in
to
the
keep your
open,
job,
everybody. But they're trying to figure out a way to do it without,
Yeah.
while still providing for my family.
Dude, why not, bro? I
Yeah.
think that's awesome, man. Speaking of teaching, man, I hear you and your wife have a private school, which I think is very important these days, and there needs to be more.
Yeah.
I think people need to back you guys up for sure.
Yeah. So definitely, if there's tons of resources for homeschooling, and I'll be completely transparent. That's not my thing. It is very much my wife runs it. She is the executive director for the company. It's a nonprofit. It's called Branches Homeschool Academy. So if you go to brancheshomeschoolacademy.com, you'll see exactly what it's all about. But they provide high level academic classes with a biblical worldview.
Amen. That's important, bro.
She is not shy about what they do. It's like, it's very clear. This is a biblical worldview. We hold conservative values, and I'm not talking Republican or Democrat. That's not what I mean by conservative. I mean traditional conservative values.
Amen.
That's what's being taught. And we have families that come in. Some are like-minded. Some are not saved. Some are not believers, but they love what we're doing. So they come in.
Yeah.
And we've actually had families that have come in. They're not believers, but they don't want their kids in the public schools stage. So they get enrolled and they ended up getting saved.
Amen.
So it's very much a ministry that she's providing. So
absolutely. Because, dude, these days, man, you know, you can't be sending your kids to public school these days and not have to worry about it.
It's scary. Yeah, man.
I mean, the things that they're teaching there is unbelievable.
Yeah.
I think Christians need to like stand up and be like, hey, we're taking our kids out of these schools, and they need to put them in, you know, schools like yours, Christian schools. It's important, dude.
Yeah.
Because
no, absolutely.
They're going to brainwash the Christian kids too. And they're going to grow up thinking that's okay.
Yeah. And it's everybody's in their own, stage of life. Right. So, I definitely don't want to come across like, holier than thou or self-righteous or anything.
No, for sure.
But I think we are all very well aware of what's going on in the public school sector.
Yeah.
So we want to.
It's not a secret anymore.
Yeah. So we want to provide an alternative for that.
Yeah.
But that's what my wife Yanira and the nonprofit is they're doing. They want to provide an alternative.
Yeah.
If you choose not to go that route, that is your choice.
Mm-hmm.
But there is something there. Just know that you have choices.
Yeah.
Aside from public school, it doesn't have to be public school. You do have choices. You have other options.
Are you affordable?
They're actually too affordable in my opinion. The capitalist in me is going to come out right now. Yeah. They should be charging a lot more for what they provide. But
because Christian schools, man, like a minimum's like $8,000 to $1,000 a month. Like it's crazy.
No, this is not even close to that.
Wow.
It's like that for. I don't want to misquote the price, but I think it's something like that for the year.
Wow, dude.
Yeah, it's very affordable. So, but again, if you go over to the website, brancheshomeschoolacademy.com,
I'll put a link up for sure.
But it's great to have these resources because a lot of people don't know what they don't know. They think like public school is the only way to go, and it's not. You have options.
That's right. That's right. I grew up in private school, and I could go to whatever college I wanted. It didn't stop me from whatever. Many kids, you know, my parents ran a private school growing up, and, you know, some of those kids went to be doctors and whatever. Yeah. So I know some people worry about that.
Yeah. And again, maybe like we were
unaccredited, and it didn't stop us from.
Yeah. Well, we're not huge. Like you have to go to college. You have to have a plan.
Some people are
and some people do want to go to college, but you don't have to. But one thing that we learned through homeschooling that I don't think is common knowledge is high school kids can take community college courses for free.
What?
And possibly come out with an AA. So my son is on track to graduate high school with an AA.
Wow.
And my daughter's graduating high school with almost an AA.
Wow, dude.
Yeah. So people think you have to finish. She won't have to
do those courses if she wanted to later?
Right. She's done. So she could technically go into school after she graduates with only like 2 more years to go before a bachelor's. People think you have to finish high school, then you could go to community college.
That's how I thought, bro. For sure.
But yeah, there's so many resources out there. And full transparency, I don't know a whole lot about it.
Well, I think I'm going to need to get you and your wife on the show.
You definitely got to get her on the show.
Talk about this. I think this will be a big thing, bro. Like people are, especially right now, there's people looking.
Yep, there is.
Who don't think there is anything else when there absolutely is, man.
There is. Yep.
So you need to talk to the missus, get her on the show.
We will. I can be convincing.
Yeah. That was awesome, dude. Yeah, I would totally love to have you guys on the show, talk about the school more. And, we're coming up to the end of the show here, bro.
Oh, wow. Already?
Yeah.
That was quick.
45 minutes.
Man, Bob, that was quick.
Is there any last words you'd like to say to any listeners that might be listening to the show right now?
So I think a big thing that's been on my heart over the last few months is like what is masculinity, right? Like godly masculinity.
Yeah, right.
We always hear like masculinity in a toxic way. Like there's a lot of that came out. And what I've been realizing is that there's different aspects of masculinity that as Christian men, godly men, that we should be fulfilling.
Yeah.
And it's not to say that if you're not fulfilling these, it's not boxes that you have to check off to be that. But I think if we focus as Christian men on what godly masculinity looks like, I think that's we see a lot of changes.
You're not talking about like macho man and
no,
it
has nothing to do with that. But like for example,
because that's what's in people's minds these days.
And it's not. I feel like there's two extremes. There's that. Yeah. Oh, that means that you have to be like macho and
put a woman in her place. Yeah.
Or the other extreme is like, oh, masculinity is toxic, and if you
when it's really loving,
exercise and you work out, that means you're toxic. It's like if you enjoy a cigar and a glass of whiskey, you're toxic. So there's these extremes where I don't think that's what it's about. I think if you start looking biblically at all the different models of masculinity in the Bible, and not go very abstract or vague. Like I feel like there's a lot of that where people will say, you want to be a godly man, look towards Jesus. And it's like, don't get me wrong, I do agree with that. But then I follow up with a question of how was Jesus with his wife? And people, well, the church is his wife. Right, I get it.
Yeah.
But how was Jesus with his wife? Like, so there's like a lot of unanswered questions there. But Jesus did give us a lot of role models in the Bible to see, like David's heart to be after God.
Yeah,
like that's a great role model
for sure.
We have Solomon loved women a little too much, but his love for his wife, right? Or Boaz, that's a better example.
Wow.
Boaz's love for his wife.
Yeah.
It's like we start looking at that and breaking down, these are all aspects of masculinity that we should be falling into. And what I've learned is the most masculine thing you can do is be a believer.
Amen, bro.
Because that is basically going against the grain of everything out there.
Yeah.
Right. So if you could be a believer and be bold about it, which I'm still a work in progress. I'm not gonna lie. I don't stand out in the corners and start screaming at the top of my lungs. But
if you're asked,
you start getting that boldness, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't know how valuable that is. Like I said, it's been going around my head for a few months, and I don't know where it's going with it, but it's definitely been helpful to me.
So,
understand that.
In a sense, masculinity is love.
Absolutely.
Like love your. A man who loves his kids and his wife, well, that's masculinity.
Absolutely.
It's not being macho.
No.
But that's macho, bro. Your kids, your wife, what more can you?
Yeah, absolutely.
It's a blessing.
Yeah.
It's not about, I'm stronger than you. Even though this guy's been working out, folks. Look at those arms on that guy. Those arms are huge.
Wow.
Wow. But yeah, dude, thank you for being on the show, though, man. I really do appreciate it. You've been my friend for a long time, dude. I can't believe it.
And you mentioned 2001, which
9/11.
Like, I'm realizing that's about the time that I feel I got saved.
Well, that could be,
it was
bro.
Like very close to when we met. I just connected that.
And how I knew, like, because I didn't go, hey, you love Jesus or whatever, is I used to park behind you at work, and you had a bumper sticker on your it wasn't Impala. It was a.
The my Caprice. Yeah. What was the bumper sticker? I don't even remember.
It said, "My treasures are in heaven, not here on earth." Something like that. And I was like, huh.
Really? I had that on my car.
Yeah. It was on your window, and I was like, this guy must be he must be a believer. So I remember thinking to myself, I'll say something like I forget what it was, but it made you say, wait, do you go to church? And
oh, that's funny. I didn't remember that.
It was something along the lines like I would say something that only believers would, say. And then you fell for it, dude.
I fell for it.
I forget what it was, but
that's funny.
It's because of that bumper sticker. I knew. I was like, this guy must be a believer.
Yeah, it's interesting because I hate bumper stickers on cars. I didn't even remember that.
Well, maybe you bought it on there. I don't know. I have no idea.
No, I definitely didn't.
But it made me think like I should talk to this guy more. Because when I went there, I was just going to go there, work there quickly. Wasn't going to try and be friends with nobody. Just in and out.
Yeah, I remember that.
And that's why sometimes it was hard to find me at work.
And now you run your own business.
Yeah, I do.
No, you're beholden to no one.
I do. But yeah, that's how I knew. So cool. Whether you put that bumper sticker there or not, that's how I knew.
Yeah, that's cool.
But yeah, man, those were good times, dude. Wouldn't trade them for the world. Even though, dude, we used to hang out 24/7.
Yeah, every day.
Like after work, went to your house, hung out there.
Yeah.
Your folks must have been annoyed, bro. Yeah, it's the coolest folks in the whole wide world, though. I got to tell you, they're real cool people.
They're amazing, yeah.
And yeah, maybe I'll get your whole family on this show, bro.
Oh, jeez. It's going to need a much longer show than 45 minutes, I'll tell you that.
And yeah, dude. So thank you for coming on the show.
Yeah.
And this is The Listenings, brought to you by Purpose of Heart Ministries. And once again, Carlos, thank you for being on the show. And we are out. We're done.